What if the love story you believed was over was only the beginning? A fairy tale that once lit up the world is about to return, but this time it comes with new questions, deeper emotions, and a future no one saw coming. Once, in the bright lights of Hollywood, two strangers met by chance. One was a businessman with everything, yet nothing that truly mattered. The other was a young woman with a big heart and a dream hidden behind her smile. Their love story became something the world would never forget. It was beautiful, unexpected, and filled with hope. People believed it ended with a perfect fairy tale, but the truth is, some stories never really end. Years have passed since Vivian and Edward walked hand in hand into their future. The streets are quieter now, but the memories are still there, living in every corner of the city. The hotel rooms, the laughter, the moments that changed their lives forever. Time moves forward, but the past always stays close, like a soft echo. You can never fully escape. In this new chapter, the world feels different. Vivian is no longer the young woman searching for a new life. Edward is no longer the man hiding behind his money. They have grown, they have changed, but deep inside the question remains, what happens after happily ever after? The camera drifts through a glowing city at night. The music is slow, emotional. A voice speaks gently. Love can change your life in a moment, but it can also test you years later. And then, just for a second, we see her again, Vivian, standing still, looking out at the world as if she is remembering something, or maybe missing something. The voice continues. Some love stories are written once, but the greatest ones are rewritten. This is not just a return to the past. This is the start of something new, a new beginning, because the fairy tale that captured millions is about to reveal what came next. Vivian and Edward's story didn't stop when the doors closed behind them. Life continued, just like it does for everyone. At first, everything felt like a dream. The world saw them as the perfect couple, the symbol of a love that could happen only in movies. But real life is never as simple as a fairy tale ending. Years later, Vivian has built a life she once could not even imagine. She is stronger now, wiser, and no longer afraid of who she is. She has become more than the girl people once judged. She has found respect, purpose, and her own voice. But even with all of that, something still feels unfinished inside her heart. Edward, on the other hand, is not the same man he used to be either. The cold businessman who once cared only about deals is gone. Vivian changed him. She showed him warmth, love, and meaning beyond money. Yet, as the years passed, even Edward began to feel the weight of time. Success is loud, but loneliness is even louder when you sit in silence. The two of them share a life together, but not every day is perfect. Love grows, but it also faces storms. The world outside keeps changing, and so do they. Sometimes Vivian looks at Edward and wonders if the man she fell for is still there. Sometimes Edward looks at Vivian and realizes that love is not something you win once. It is something you must choose again and again. The city around them still shines, but their world is quieter now. No cameras, no fairy tale music. Just two people trying to hold on to what they built. A soft voice speaks over slow scenes of their lives today. Time doesn't erase love, but it changes it. Vivian walks through familiar streets, memories flashing in her mind. Edward stands alone in a tall office, staring out the window as if something is calling him back. The voice continues. After all these years, they have everything they wished for. So why does it feel like something is missing? Their love story is still alive, but it is not the same as before. Because life after the fairy tale is where the real story begins. And the hardest questions are still waiting. Something is coming, something that will test them, something that will make them look back and choose what comes next. Just when it seems like life has settled into a quiet routine, something unexpected begins to rise, a change. A moment that shakes everything Vivian and Edward thought they understood about their future. Because even the strongest love can be tested when the past comes knocking again. Vivian starts to feel it first. A restless feeling deep inside her heart. She has grown, she has given so much, but now she begins to ask herself, Is this really the life she was meant to live? She is no longer chasing dreams, but she wonders if she has forgotten her own. Edward senses it too, the distance in the quiet moments. The way Vivian smiled doesn't always reach her eyes anymore. He tries to hold on, but for the first time, he realizes something frightening. Love is not something you can protect with money or power. Then something happens. A new situation pulls them out of their comfort. Maybe it's an old name from Edward's past. Maybe it's a secret Vivian has kept inside for too long. Or maybe it's a life-changing event that forces them both to face what they have become. The music grows heavier. The scenes become faster. Vivian stands alone, holding back tears while Edward looks helpless, realizing that fixing this will take more than promises. A voice speaks with emotion. Sometimes the hardest part of love is not finding it, it's keeping it alive. The world begins to whisper, rumors, questions, pressure. People start to wonder, are Vivian and Edward still the fairy tale couple? Or has time created a space between them that even love cannot? Cross, Vivian finally speaks, her voice soft but real. I don't want to lose myself again. Not even for love. Edward, shaken, answers with regret. I thought loving you once was enough, but I was wrong. Now they stand at a crossroads, not as strangers like before, but as two people with history, pain, and a love worth fighting. For the voice returns. Every love story has a beginning. But only the greatest ones survive the second chapter. This is not about romance alone anymore. This is about identity, about choosing each other again, about healing what time has quietly broken, because this time it isn't about being saved. It's about starting over and what comes next. We'll change everything. The night feels quieter now, but the emotions are louder than ever. Vivian and Edward stand on the edge of something unknown. Not the start of a fairy tale, but the start of a real new chapter. Vivian looks forward, no longer the girl she once was, but a woman ready to choose her own path. Edward finally understands that love is not a moment. It is a journey that must be fought for, a voice whispers. Some stories don't end when the movie fades. They live on. Quick flashes appear, Vivian walking away, Edward reaching out, memories of laughter and tears of regret, then hope. A second chance. The voice rises. When love is true, it always finds its way back. The screen fades to black. Pretty Woman 2, New Beginning, 2026, because the greatest love stories begin again. The screen goes dark, but the feeling remains. Vivian and Edward's story is not over. It is starting again in a way no one expected. A soft voice says, love doesn't disappear. It waits. One last glimpse of them together, then silence. Pretty Woman 2, A New Beginning, 2026, coming soon. Because some fairy tales deserve a second chapter.